Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Michael Stephenson.
Hello.
Back with us today is Jason Wingate.
Hello.
William Fletcher.
Howdy.
And Curtis Harrison.
Hello, how you doing?
Today we're continuing to discuss the Alien franchise by reviewing Alien 3, which was made in 1992. So you're not confused by
Something
the
like
freeness.
Yeah, something like that.
So the story takes place just after Alien 2, which where Ripley and Corporal Hick, whatever
Yeah,
it is, Hicks, and
Newt.
Newt.
What a name for a girl, Newt.
and
Yeah.
and the android Bishop are in their cryogenic sleep in the
and
spaceship.
that stasis little thing,
Yeah.
And
Yep.
somehow one of the face hugger things that probably left over from the Queen somehow attached itself to one of the inhabitants.
And
I won't say who
no
this
one knew.
time, but
Yeah.
Yes.
but somehow this causes somehow a fire starts spreading in the spaceship, and somehow it evacuated the cryogenic people in their beds.
Well, they were already in the pod.
into the pod.
escape pod.
Yeah.
So that's where we begin our story there.
So that
Well,
I heard
your
that.
phone.
It's just like being in a library. You're supposed to turn your phone off.
Yeah. So
I'll leave it in. That's
So somehow Ripley is the only one survivor again in this adventure. So she's the only survivor. So
Interesting how she's always the only survivor.
hard to
Yeah.
believe.
do not go on a spaceship with this woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's discuss the film, guys.
Well, it's not as good as the first two, I'll say that.
By a clear margin.
Yeah, and let's see. I mean, there's not as much tension as there is in the first two films, and there's
Yep.
definitely not as much action. It's more focused on Sigourney Weaver. So
Yeah, it's definitely more talk.
Yeah.
There's not that much. That's not
Yeah.
that many jump scares, or not that many. Not even that many sci-fi elements to it.
Well,
Yeah,
No.
it could have been anywhere.
Yeah, well, bear
Yeah,
in mind
exactly.
in
Yeah.
this one, as I mentioned in the previous podcast episodes, Weaver is the executive producer in this one, and she kind of made her stand by saying no weaponry in this movie.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why
good
they
lord.
were-
Who's that Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah.
Weaver, she
Says,
I
use
told
your
you
brain
these
and
guys
you
in
do
the
it some
past that
other
she
way.
didn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
weapons, so
Okay.
she kind of made her stand, and they stuck to it to avoid budget problems.
Yeah.
Can you imagine tracking the alien with a trail of breadcrumbs? Say, follow me? No, it doesn't actually work, does it?
no, it doesn't.
No.
Come to think of it, I do like the idea of no weapons, because it kind of makes it more. It creates more of a stake
Agreed.
that they don't have weapons to fight off this creature.
Yeah, and they're left with whatever they have at their disposal
Yeah.
to kill it if they can.
Yeah.
They got their wits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
Exactly.
people have got more
Yeah.
more wits than others. So
Yeah.
if you're half wit, well, never mind.
Yeah, so it's back to one alien this time.
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah,
one.
one alien, yeah.
Yeah.
I know there
Yeah,
is more
pretty
than one
much.
alien.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, but there's only one main alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, one main alien, yeah. You're not having running all over the place like the aliens.
Yeah,
Alien
unlike
2.
unlike Alien 2, there was like thousands upon thousands of aliens.
A couple of hundred maybe. Good. They
20.
can only have as many people to incubate them in. Yeah, so-
True,
Yeah.
true. So this one is centered on an alien which is called Alien Runner, I think it was.
And he came out of a dog,
Yeah.
supposedly, which looked remote like an ox to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it started off as a dog, but then they changed it to an ox. Until much later, they made it later on in a different director's cut one. They try to bring that dog back, the Rottweiler, back into this movie.
Yeah.
Even though
Okay.
Yeah.
So did the dog have one of those?
He got a face
Got-
hugger on him.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened to him. Yeah, I did. Oh, that's right. The main alien hatched out of the dog, didn't
Yeah,
he?
I
Yeah,
think-
that's
Yes,
right.
Yeah, it
I
did.
think that there
that's
was
right,
two
yeah.
face
One of
huggers
the better
on
scenes.
board their escape pod, and it kind of jettisoned with them and waited for the right moment to attach itself to the first
Yeah.
creature that it came across.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's one outside and one inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So you were saying that they made this alien a runner,
yeah.
which
Yep.
which would explain why they decided to use computer graphics this time.
Oh, those ones
Yeah.
at times.
Well, they also came up with a theory that the alien takes on the form, like with the human host it keeps taking form on.
It takes something off the DNA.
It takes a thing off the DNA there.
That's
and,
why it was more of a runner like a dog.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
with the ox or the
Ox, yeah,
dog,
yeah.
it started walking on 4 legs instead of 2.
Now that's interesting too, because some of those parts where that animal was running around when it was small, they were actually going to use a real dog, like a whippet or something,
Right, right.
with,
That
with
could
a
have
rubber
worked.
suit on it. But it didn't work properly, so they didn't. They used to use a CGI and other stuff. but
Okay.
it wasn't going to work.
Okay, so
Hang on, what was
just to be clear,
Bland.
they because the face hugger was on a dog this time, that's why it can run around.
yeah, it's just
Right, okay.
its bone structure's a bit different.
Yeah.
I did not pick up on that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't pick on that either, actually.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of religious themes in this movie as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
there
was
is.
communism, there was religion, you
Yeah.
name it. It was there. Cold War.
Yeah.
Well, the Cold War only ended like 3 years after this film happened. So
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of things in there. A lot of overtones, undertones, side tones. You got it. It's all in there.
yeah, so Rocky cured the Cold War, and they started to keep talking about it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Hang on, are we in the
Move
same
on,
universe
guys.
here?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, so
Yesterday's news.
yeah, so back to Earth, or not back to Earth. I mean, out in outer
Oh,
space.
there was a script for it going to Earth, but it never
was.
happens.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
well,
Read about that, yeah.
yeah. So
And that was going to be some sort of containment facility or something, or it gets out of control
Yeah.
or something.
Well, I can discuss
Yeah.
about it, but it's pretty long.
yeah.
Yes.
No.
At the end point of this, and at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
the
well,
day,
not
when you
now.
look at this movie, it was considered a flop, sadly. Again,
But a box
Yes,
office,
I can understand
Yeah.
that.
the box office was almost the same as Alien 2.
Wasn't this
Aliens.
David Fincher's first feature film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
he just
yeah.
owned it in the end.
So yeah, he definitely learnt from this movie. I'll give him that.
Well,
so, yeah.
he's comes from
Yeah.
a music video background, so he's worked with Madonna. He worked with Michael Jackson on Who Is
He's
It?
already been working for Aliens.
And he's
Well,
most,
he did appear in Men in Black as an alien.
He did.
did?
He did.
Yeah.
and he's
What, David
In
Fincher?
the second one.
You
Oh,
might-
No,
yeah,
no,
no,
Michael Jackson.
Oh, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
of
oh yeah,
course.
Michael Jackson. I was
that's
just
right,
gonna say.
Yeah.
And
He
his
was.
most recent one being Justin Timberlake's Suit and Tie. So he's had lots of experience, but he got thrown in the wilderness by jumping into
Oh
Alien
yeah.
3.
He also directed the first episode of Mindhunter.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Since these other two ones, their visions were turned down.
well, can you tell them which ones though?
Yeah.
So-
you can't see from your.
It
from
went to. It originally first started off with Ridley Scott, but he wasn't available. And
How dare
then,
he.
and then next of all, Rennie Harlan had an idea, and that got turned down. The closest we ever had to something else, which was produced later on, was the idea that the aliens would come to Earth. Now, if you've seen the teaser trailer, this says we're coming to Earth. They didn't, obviously. One of
They
the
found a better place to go. Yeah.
one of the better ideas was aliens on a cornfield. Now, can you guys figure out what concept that's from?
Signs.
Correct. They used it later on, so that was a major missed opportunity by Alien 3.
Whack me in the face next time, Curtis.
And in the
Yeah,
end, they went with the
He
prison.
just pointed a finger at me and was like inches away from my face.
Basically, the one thing that everyone remembers from this movie is the poster of the alien, tilting its head down against Sigourney Weaver, and that basically is the scariest part of the movie to me.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
handy
Yeah,
for
that's
the
used
hands
in many
and he's
promos.
standing next to
Yeah.
Sigourney. Sees, ooh.
Yeah, it was
That
interesting
haircut.
that bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I read somewhere that.
I missed that. What was that? Sorry.
The poster. You got the alien going to Sigourney Weaver in the poster. You know,
Oh right, yeah.
Where she's teasing the alien saying, attack me, whatever. And he just came up and looked at her.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that one,
I
yeah.
have to admit that I did jump at that too.
Yeah, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, where did he come from?
Yeah,
Handsome devil, wasn't
let's
he?
go back to Weaver's new hairdo in this.
Oh my
movie.
god.
I read somewhere that
I think it's turned
that
butch. You know?
when she went for that, she wore
lack
a,
thereof.
one of a scalp cap for this
Oh really?
Was it?
scene, and
Oh.
she had to remove it a couple of times because her little daughter was around. So to avoid freaking her out, she just removed it when she's not working.
Oh,
Mummy,
there you
where's
go.
your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking like father.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a real haircut.
No, it was.
Oh, that
it
was
was
very well
It
done
was a
then.
skull cap
Wow.
that
Oh,
was-
wow.
Hey, I'm wearing a skull cap too then.
I mean, she could have just shaved her hair.
Nice try, Michael.
would've
Yeah,
saved
Nice
them
try.
I think everybody
Yeah,
would have
well,
thought that.
I guess she didn't want to freak out her kids with the
Well, you
Yeah.
wouldn't want
hairstyle.
to do that to kids. I mean, it's sort of like Frankenstein, you know.
And there's a big chance
Yeah.
that she
Oh,
may have
okay.
there might be a big chance she might have been working at another film project at the time. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we
that's
don't want
true.
her shaved head throughout
Yeah.
all her career.
Yeah, switch
No.
back and forth. Back and forth, yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I never knew that, yeah.
Well, this was the last film in the Alien franchise to get nominated for an Oscar. From here, the Oscars disappeared.
Yeah.
What a drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh yes. So anyway, let me think. Oh yeah, in this one, another thing that I should bring up in this film is that that Ripley in this one, she kind of develops a baby alien. In her.
Yes. Yeah.
Just so you know.
It was a
Yeah.
mummy.
Yes.
She was going to be a mummy to an alien queen.
And they ran out of budget because we never saw how it happened.
Yeah.
It was Saturday night. She got a bit loose and away it went.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's a bit weird that why the alien stayed so long in her inside there.
I was going to bring that up actually because if you actually notice,
Everything.
maybe it's because it's the queen, it has to
Incubate
stay in.
longer.
Yeah, incubate longer.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
yeah.
maybe, but yeah, no, I did notice that. Like, I think she realizes like halfway through in the film that she's got an
Oh,
alien
don't
inside of her,
feel very well.
and then it takes the
Yeah.
rest of the half of the
Hey,
film
was
for
that
it to
morning
hatch.
sickness then, maybe?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I came up with a separate theory that seeing as she was in Kyber sleep for at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
maybe the baby was in sleep mode too, and that's
Yeah.
one reason why it
Probably.
hasn't woken up and started digging a way out of her stomach.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you notice how they had the talking about. Well, we're talking about
Not pressing
how the face hugger got on her in the first place.
Yeah.
Notice in the very first, I don't know, the first scene or the first couple of scenes of the film, she spots the burnt spot where the acid was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So my guess is somehow the face hugger got into her whatever
Yeah,
they
the
call it, the freezer.
cryostasis thing. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they call it.
That thing.
Yeah,
That
that
Yeah.
bed,
The
that
bed. Yeah.
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 But actually, that's one thing that got me too. Says, I mean, she would have been in that one, and Newt would have been in that one, and Hicks would have been in that one.
Yeah.
Now the alien would have, I would think, would have dropped the acid on the one he impregnated. So how
Yeah.
at the beginning didn't she know it was the one she was in?
Good point.
Oh yeah, true.
Ah.
Oh yeah.
Thinking outside the box, are we?
Yeah.
I always do.
What happened to Mute? I thought she got attacked by the alien.
Well, she
No, she died.
she
in the
died.
crash.
She kind of drowned in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was just a cover up. That like they thought that's what happened to her.
That's why she did the autopsy. She was trying to find out whether
Oh, true.
Newt
Yes.
That's right,
got
that's right.
Yeah.
impregnated. And they said, "Oh,
Yeah.
bugger, it's
It
me."
was, as I said
Yeah.
before, guys.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad when the people of this the censor, they were very disturbed by the scene, so and they didn't and wanted to avoid seeing
Yeah.
as much of Newt as possible because it was a bit
Actually,
on the
that's
gross
another thing.
side.
That wasn't the original Newt either, because Newt had been growing up. Been a couple of years different. She was what,
Yeah, she would've
12
been-
years old or 10 years old on the
Yep.
Aliens movie or
Yeah,
something.
so
or
they
other.
had to make
And this
a-
is so many years later. She would have been a teenager.
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
they kind of had to
Mid-teens or
make
something, yeah.
they kind of had to make the survive the corpses in this movie
I think rubber body or something.
rubber
or-
bodies
Yeah.
instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
to avoid
And,
you
and I
know,
think they used a still
sense
picture
of
of her or
stuff.
something in a few things. And,
yeah, one of the
Yeah.
other actors who played Corporal Hicks.
Hicks.
He was so annoyed that he was not going to be starring in this film, and he was paid, of course, for a
They paid
still
him.
of him.
They used some still pictures of him, or a still picture of him in the movie in the beginning or something or other, and he was paid almost the same amount for using that still picture as it did when he played in the role in the second movie, Aliens. So
Yeah.
he made whatever it was, and he got a bit the same ticket. Oh, here's my picture. I want the same money, thank you.
a lot like
I would have just written that out.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot like Mark Hamill in
Yeah.
Force Awakens when he did that final scene in the movie, and they paid him a lot of money for that particular scene.
Yeah.
Did this program go into a lot of cost overrun? From what I understand, it cost a lot more to make than anticipated in the beginning.
Oh,
Oh,
big
yeah,
time.
it did.
13
Yeah.
freaking million on the pre-production alone.
Yeah. Speaking of Hicks, notice that he actually showed a sign of there was an alien inside of him, and it already busted out.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think he was.
Didn't something fell on him? Did it?
I think something broke
Ah,
into
Yeah,
the
the superstructure of the
the,
pod broke and it
yeah, something that
and
must
it broke
have
through his
hit him and hit his abdomen.
yeah.
Okay.
Abdomen.
That thing.
Okay.
That
I was
thing.
going to ask what happened to the alien, but obviously that answers that question.
Well, like some sort of claw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it was actually part of the superstructure
Yeah,
of the
somehow
pod.
the struct-
Crushed down and
yeah.
smashed him in the guts.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when they were landing on the planet, some of the structure must have hit him in the
It
chest.
did, yeah, well, it broke. Well,
Right.
it didn't actually land. It didn't. The motors
crashed.
weren't even on. It just fell out of the sky. So
Yeah.
that makes you wonder how the hell Ripley survived the crash landing. That would have been hitting that water at some unknown speed.
Very fast.
And broke
Yeah.
up the the thingy, but she got out alive.
Oh, if you let's look at start on physics because we'll be here for ages.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, and Bishop, you know the robot I told you guys
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
Bishop, the robot, he didn't get to be he only appeared way to the end of the movie, and the rest of the time when they did the scenes with him, they kind of used an actual robot,
Yeah.
that resembled
figured that.
Lance.
Robotronics,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So,
Animatronic. Yeah.
Animatronics,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they kind of used that as
And
a
a
bit
voiceover.
and
Yeah.
using a bit of
But
a
actually, he did
voiceover.
appear at the end, but we'll talk about it later. But something I checked when I was going through, this name of this company was a Wayland something or other corporation.
Yeah.
It showed up in this
Walmart.
movie. It showed up in Aliens, no, it was Alien 2, but it never actually mentioned the company, I don't think, at the beginning. Now, the first company in Alien was into mining. And
Yeah.
they were hauling a cargo of mineral ore.
Yeah, which made perfect sense.
And the next
Yeah.
guy, they had a colony on a planet which was into mining or doing a settlement there for some reason or other.
Yeah.
Which also makes sense.
Which made sense. And this one here they had a lead smelting plant using the resources of this dead planet, which also makes sense. These guys had this, and the sideline was bioweaponry.
Okay.
Oh, that's when it falls apart.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why in this one those guys they still want Ripley and they know that she's probably got a
How do they
an
know about
alien.
that though?
Oh,
Because
Well,
no one,
the
not even
computer
she
knows, the
knew.
computer knows.
But how? Not even
I
she,
don't know. They
but
don't
she,
tell you that part.
not even Ripley knew she had an alien inside of her until
Yeah,
she
but
got
No.
the computer of her spaceship,
yeah.
and that would have all been downloaded to the head office
True.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew everything
makes
was going on even before she knew what was going on, so they were tracking it all.
Why couldn't she just cough up some blood? Then she'd be able to tell she has an alien. That would have been a very simple way of doing it.
She could have
Done.
got a rabbit and done a rabbit test and said, I'm pregnant. Now,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so it was a bit sad that Ripley found out that she was pregnant with a baby alien.
It looks just like its father.
Would you call it pregnant though? Would it? Isn't
I
she
don't.
more of a cocoon than a?
Yeah, it's more of
Yeah.
a
Yeah, because in
but-
Prometheus, there was another trapped alien, and that was considered a cocoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
they
so.
even mentioned that in the first one that the I don't know the face huggers somehow cocoon another
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, because they jumped because they jumped into men as well, and as we all know, men can't get pregnant.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Whoa.
actually, Mike and I were
No.
discussing this earlier, and we think that Ripley most likely would have carried the mother because she's got female DNA.
Right.
Yeah,
That does make
And-
sense. Yeah.
And that's probably
And all the other
yeah.
face huggers we've seen so far was either done by men, and
Yeah.
we haven't seen a female getting face hugged yet. But in this movie, we did, and we found out that she's carrying a female queen inside her. So it kind of fits in with the story here when I think
Yeah.
about it.
And that would explain why it took longer for her to
Incubate.
bust
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who here watched both cuts?
I only saw the first one.
So none of you watched the director's cut.
No.
Wait,
Okay.
Oh, no, I watched the director's cut. I got the director's cut.
Any
yeah.
any real big differences?
I didn't even know there was a director's cut, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, we gave it to you.
So what are you going to raise?
Nothing. I was just gonna say because I was just wondering if they explained some of those little more things in more detail.
Nah, the director's cut is just different scenes. Actually, there's some part there, just going back to the scripts and whatever, that there was supposed to be a lot more Ripley backstories in these movies, but they actually wrote them down because they didn't want to be too focused on Ripley.
Yeah, they
Well,
wanted.
there were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, Ripley this, Ripley that, and it's okay getting to it, so they toned it down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it got more about the alien and the inmates on
Yeah,
the planet.
it's a
and
little
whatever.
sad
yeah,
that in this one, even though both Ripley lost two girls now. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think sad. I thought when Ripley would come back to Earth, she would probably raise Newt and become her mum, and maybe Hicks will become her dad, and they'll live
Well,
happily
They
ever
get a
after.
dog and get a
Well,
like,
stepdad.
a quarter-acre
Or foster
lot,
dad.
Yeah,
Let's go with foster dad.
Yeah, let's go
I
with
guess that was implied that they were thinking that was going
Happy
to happen,
families.
but
Not
Yeah.
to be.
but it seems like that it'll take years for Ripley to ever get back to Earth
What
again.
do you think about it? See, the first time she was in at the end of Alien, she was in the cryo stage for about 57 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't say how long she was in it this time,
No.
whether it was 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, they didn't say. So who knows?
I
How,
would-
how you go back and say, I've been away from the world for 100 years. What changes would you see?
Well, I just mean that. Well, for this one, I think it was only probably say a few hours, and the
Most
face
likely.
hugger and the
Okay,
face
but-
hugger would not just
but
stay
think
or
about the
sleep
back
for
pay
long.
you get.
When you think about
Yeah.
it.
Hey, 100 years, I'm still on payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Anyway, the face huggers would not stay in their shells for so long. They'll just jump out
Yeah.
and take a walk.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
only if only the internet had been invented, she'd be a freaking millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no selfies either.
No.
Look at me.
No, but there isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, is there anything else you want to point out in this film, guys?
Yes.
We got plenty, I think, plenty of time to chat about this one.
Yeah. So we should actually talk about one thing that none of you have brought up yet.
Okay, go ahead.
So David Fincher was brought on at the last minute because basically they said let's punt it to a young person, and he actually had no idea about the assembly cut, and he refuses to talk about it to this day.
Yeah, he's just saying the project altogether.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
think we
yeah.
His
discussed.
name's on the credits, but he doesn't want anything, he doesn't want to be known to be. Like, he just I don't like it. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
But actually, just saying what you said, Curtis. I mean, the original guy who wrote the story, Vincent Ward. Yeah, Vincent Ward. He was taken on as the original director.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And that's probably why they changed him over, because he couldn't direct to save his life, and that's
Yeah.
why they put Fincher in.
Okay.
Fincher in, yeah. So, and it is controlled too much. Once we got to that stage, the studios had too much control, and that's why Fincher didn't like it. Yeah.
I wonder how it would turn out if Sigourney Weaver actually directed it and acted it in at the same time.
Oh,
That's a good thought, Mike.
Yeah.
I think
Would it
it
be
would
very
have been
different,
it
or-
would have been way different potentially.
See,
Yeah.
The point is, if she's not a director or doesn't know how to direct properly, it could have gone pear-shaped too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can't think of any directing.
Not that I'm
credits off the
not
top
that
of
I'm
my
bad
head
mouthing
about
David
Sigourney Weaver.
Lynch and not criticizing his work. It's just a thought. What if Sigourney Weaver would direct
it would have
it?
been a totally different movie.
Because she
yeah.
did produce it.
She did?
Yeah, but producer
Yeah.
could mean I stood there and threw some money at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you had
Yeah,
any hands on.
and as I said before, she
Yeah, true.
she was
Yeah,
probably the
yeah.
one.
Oh,
who
so she
told-
was an executive producer.
Yeah, like
exactly.
co-producer or executive
Yeah, meaning
producer or
she
something. Yeah.
sort of gave half of the money to make this film work.
I was speaking about
Okay.
money. I think the last movie got about $3 million for, or something, was it? This one's got paid $5 million plus percentage of
Yes.
take. Yeah, so she get good paying for it.
Yeah, just so you guys know, just like a lot of the other Alien movies in the past, and probably some other productions I can't name at the moment. In this production, it was shut down for 3 months, despite the fact that several sets have already been built.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so they fell into the same trap of Super Mario Brothers, where they want to change all the ideas around, but guess what? The sets are still there. You have to use them.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Bugger.
Yeah, as I said before, but these Alien movies, they seem to have a lot of rocky starts and a lot of people leaving the set or
Creative differences.
creative
Yeah.
differences.
Yeah, that's a good word
And
for it.
it seems like it was an ongoing process with the Alien
I think
movies.
part of the problem is I'm not knocking the Brits, but in Aliens they had a lot of problem over there with the crew and stuff.
Yeah.
We're pommies and we want our breaks and we don't want to work too long and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they had and then the
Don't
thing
be
was-
nasty
No,
to
I'm just saying it's a fact.
I know.
We
the
discussed
Brits have
last
gone through
time.
enough at the
And I
moment
think
with
the
Brexit.
director was fired or something or other, and the crew walked out. And then once they got a new director, everyone came back. Everyone wanted Ridley Scott to be there because they'd worked with Ridley before. They should have just gone back and just done it in America. The point is, if you're having so much trouble in England, why the hell keep using the studio over there?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
two
exactly.
movies had trouble with personnel.
Yeah.
And it's probably gets back to the UK guys being a royal pain in the neck.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Potentially,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, well, it's not all of their fault.
No, it
No.
possibly was. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
If
true.
it was, why use them? You gave him 2 bites of cherry. I'd like to check out who made Alien 4, whether it was made in England at the same Pinewood Studios, if they had the same problem again.
Well, I have no idea who directed Alien 4. I'll have to check that out for myself.
I
Yeah,
think
but there's no doubt we will, don't you worry.
Yeah,
Yes.
no doubt we'll be reviewing Alien 4, and that will conclude this franchise for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't be.
Fresh
As
then,
I said
yeah.
before, I'm not gonna. We may or may not. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. We may either review Aliens versus Predator later on. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna go through a. Continuation
I
here.
did see that one once before, Alien vs Predator, but it was a very bad reception of a pirate copy. So it was so dark, and I could hardly hear what was going on. So I haven't
Do we
really
have to
properly watched
do
it
the
yet.
Alien Predator one.
Well, we may. We'll flip a coin when,
There's
when
only
it
two,
gets
isn't
closer.
there?
Yeah, yeah.
There's only two.
You said you were going to recommend Silence of the Lambs, but I haven't seen it.
Which one?
So, yeah.
What's that?
Isn't
So-
it on Netflix?
Which one?
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
that's suspense horror, maybe.
No, it's a
Yeah.
psychological
Thriller.
thriller.
Psychological thriller.
Yeah.
It feels more like a thriller drama than a horror
Yeah,
film,
yeah.
really.
Well,
So-
we'll discuss that one
Well,
because
Yeah.
this is primarily horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. But I suppose if we get something which is
Yeah, but
tantalising and gets the old juices flowing, why not just throw it in?
yeah,
so-
Curtis, you have something to say?
So let's get let's keep going with this. Let's talk about the next thing. I want to talk about the true horror that kind of threw me off the film and almost wanted to flip a table over it. The ending.
Okay, ending.
Yeah.
Bit of the
Yeah.
ending.
What's wrong with that lava?
It was made out of smoke.
So-
That's the
so when
only
she-
answer I
So
have
when
to
she
that.
fell into the lead lava,
Yeah.
it looked I know it's the 90s, but I don't know if you've seen Suicide Squad, but at least with the liquid she fell into, it looked convincing, even if it's poisonous. Why couldn't they do something similar with her death?
I have something to
Yeah.
stimulate your brain. Didn't it take you back to Terminator?
Yes.
Yes.
And what about Return of the King, where Gollum,
Fell into
Question
it.
Yeah,
about
fell
that
into the lava.
actually. Notice when as she was falling, the alien busted out of her. So wouldn't have she died straight
Conveniently.
away?
I guess she would, but she was clinging onto it for dear life to avoid.
Yeah,
it.
she wants
Yeah.
to take it in there with her.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but
yeah. I know.
easily.
Yeah. But
Because we've seen the aliens aren't fireproof, so the alien would have died as well.
well, actually, he crawled out of the lava. But he was so overheated and put the cold water on him, he exploded.
Oh,
Bit of science for you guys.
yeah, but by the way, guys, in this scene, as I said before, we see Bishop's designer, who's
The real
the
bishop.
real Bishop,
Yeah.
who looks exactly like the android in every detail. Well, maybe not.
Well,
not every
he
detail.
designed the android on.
Well,
Well, he was a real
Considering he
actor.
was the same actor.
Yeah.
he was.
But he was the real human being who designed the android.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
and like God made him in his own image. You see
Yeah,
what I mean?
because
Yeah.
Lance Hendrickson only agreed to reprise the role as Bishop as a personal favour to Walter Hill. To this day, Hendricks says he dislikes the film for its nihilistic theme, so he only did it as a favour.
Yeah, what a nice man.
But here's something for you. His name was, I can't remember his first name, was something Bishop Whalen.
Okay.
Was he the boss of the corporation?
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
Most likely.
He was the one who was after Ripley, so
Yeah, because he wanted to.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wanted to, like said, oh, we want the alien as well. We want to keep you around. We want to take
Yeah.
over the
Quick
universe.
operation.
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Another
quick
cesarean
operation.
section. How many do you want?
Section, and then we'll get it out. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, take about 2 minutes. You won't feel a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Until,
Does that make sense to any of you why he'd want to keep an alien as a weapon?
Yeah, makes sense.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well-
If you look, okay, put it this way: if you got an alien and could train it mentally somehow,
So like the Velociraptors in Jurassic World.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like Chris Pratt changes. Okay, guys, we're going to battle. Kill those guys over there.
Yeah.
who's going to be battling an alien successfully?
Or if we're gonna-
No one can kill them.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
happens-
true.
How do you pinch them off?
And this turned out to be false in the end, but at one point, George Bush was thinking about using bears to hunt Osama bin Laden.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Really?
Yeah, but that was false in the end, but that would have been
Okay.
funny as hell.
But
Yeah,
another
yeah.
point around the same thing. You can train. Dolphins have been used by the Navy for years for
Yeah, to do
doing stuff.
investigations
Yeah, yeah.
and-
So what? It's
And-
the same theme.
Now that you think about it, talking about it, people train hound dogs to,
Exactly
sniff
right.
things
Blood-
up and
bloodhounds,
hey, they can train
drug
dogs to sniff
dogs.
drugs up.
Yeah, explosive
exactly.
dogs,
Yeah.
cadaver dogs.
Yeah, so it's a sort of technology or sort of thing that has been done before, but they probably were thinking of doing the exact same thing with the aliens in this story. So they were going to probably train them, get them into war zones and kill any
kill
threats.
naughty
I take it back then.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is though, how do you control someone like a homicidal maniac?
That's a good question.
What they
That's
are.
that's the issue.
That's a good question.
That's where the fourth Alien movie comes into play.
Don't-
Well,
And
don't
that's the-
spoil it.
Yeah,
And
don't
that's,
spoil it.
that's the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
issue with humans as well. Like, not all army people are going to obey their captains. One of them might rebel.
But you want
Yeah.
me to that? No.
Yeah, so
Everyone's a joke.
I could rebel right now
Yeah.
from this podcast and just walk out the door.
Yeah, just,
You won't come back again.
Yeah.
yeah, just put it on like a jetpack and just blast through the roof.
yeah, so the final answers to Alien will be in the fourth final movie. So so is there any last thoughts on the Alien movie, guys, before we make a
6 out of 10.
Oh, we've got a few more minutes to chat. Anything
Yeah,
else to
yeah.
come up before we go?
Yes.
Curtis has usually lots of good groovy things to throw in.
Yeah,
Curtis
so-
is always the one prepared.
Yeah, so guess what, guys? It cost $50 million, which was a lot of money in the 1992, and it's only made 155 million. So I don't know about the marketing, but they would have only just
the
made.
home media market would have got a lot more than that.
Yeah.
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 So
yeah.
it wasn't a bomb because it made back more than it was made for.
Oh,
so
Yeah, but they thought it was bad because it wasn't
Yeah,
as
I
good as the
mean,
other two movies.
I think the audience was so excited about the first two movies, they thought this would be just as good.
Yeah.
And it got, I guess, a lot of media not really happy about it.
yeah.
I think one of the down points about this film is the fact that they used a costume in the first movie, robots in the second movie, but this time they used
Puppetry.
Puppetry. But this time they used
Animatronics.
no, this time they used computer graphics,
CGI,
which was
yeah.
very
Yeah.
weak back
Yeah,
then.
it was
so
only in its infancy
Yeah.
after T2, which was
Yeah,
really the
so
one that set
if
the
they had
stage for it.
improved, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, fair enough. You know, we can't criticize the
Technology.
technology back then, but if there was some way of improving, like making him a robot or not a robot, a costume or something, someone who could run around really fast, I reckon would.
He did actually do some of that. The costumes made so he could run on all fours.
Yeah.
So he did do some of those shots. Not all of them, but some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So-
however,
Yeah, like close-up
So-
shots of the
yeah.
alien
So there
face
are
and all that.
some costume shots. In
Yeah,
the
yeah.
film.
There are
it's
some,
not all CG.
no, but some of them were costume shots, and when he was on all fours.
Okay.
Yeah.
so the famous shot of Ripley getting scared, that was definitely done by
That was a
person
robot.
in
I
a
think.
robot or a costume.
I think, yeah.
But however, if you rewind and you go back to when it's crawling, that's CGI. And
You can
that's
so
fake.
tell it's CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that annoys me about CGI though, is when you can tell it's done on a computer.
Yeah, you can tell right away that
Yeah, it looks
yeah.
like a computer
movements.
game instead of a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I would not use computer graphics for my.
Speaking
Film
of
productions.
computer games, there
Unless
was
you have the budget.
Yeah.
a tie-in game for the NES. Don't play it. It's a horrible game.
A what?
NES.
Yeah, the NES tie-in. If you
For
wanna see-
aliens?
if you want to see that, just watch the Angry Video Game.
NES, not especially special. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yes. So this film was considered a flop back in
North
in
America.
North
Flop.
America.
No, it wasn't a
So-
flop. This wasn't seen to be a good movie compared to the other two. Didn't say a flop. Okay.
Well, North America thought differently.
Well, they didn't like it. Yes.
Yeah,
because,
it's-
because the storyline. It was totally different to the first two.
Yeah.
And you we're going on island here at the smelting works. We're pretty boring as, and then and there's no real violence in there. There's no
Yeah.
guns. There's no lasers. No.
I really
bombs,
don't
there's-
know what to make of the
Yeah.
of the whole setting of where it takes place and what. I really don't know what to make of it. Like if I like it or if I
Yeah,
don't.
the external shots were done at a foundry or a power station in England somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's no set there. There's no graphic design work. There's no nothing.
So,
It was
this movie was shot on a location with no set. It was just a location band.
well, yeah, I think it was done similar to was it Aliens, where they went inside an old disused power station.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think they used that and just made some areas up like their cafeterias
Because I
and
know
different
they
things.
they shot
yeah.
the first Star Wars, the Death Star, in like a soundstage in
Yeah.
Britain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And one of the other issues they had with the shooting was the fact that there was lots of extensive last-minute reshoots. Now, we talked about the final finale and Bad Lava, but the finale was, the original finale was deemed too similar to Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Okay.
So they ultimately pushed the budget into the region of 65 million, so they had to come up with a whole new design instead of the ending they had in T2, if any of you have seen it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so how do you guys rate this movie?
6 out of 10.
Okay, Chase?
Have to really deeply think about this one. I'd
Well-
probably say a 4.
It was tough because I struggled to watch this. It was not it was not easy at all. It's I don't hate it.
Have you found it boring?
Yeah, I
Otherwise?
found it a bit boring. I could still basically. So what I did in the end was watched it while I was doing my chores, and that
That would be
Were the-
extremely
were the
entertaining.
chores more entertaining? Or?
so all my chores that I can do around the house, and I can occasionally peek over, and I still know what was going on. So just for that reason alone, I'm gonna go down the middle and say a 5.
So, do you want to end Alien at Resurrection, or do you want to go on to Prometheus and Covenant?
We'll see.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your verdict?
Yeah, well, I'd like to take a holistic approach when I analyse a movie.
Same.
Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with the actual filming.
Yep,
The
I
sets,
agree.
The sets were pretty good for the script. They worked. But yeah, I must agree it was a tad boring in parts. I mean, there was less action. There was some action.
Yeah.
But if this is supposed to be a sci-fi action horror, I think it lost a bit on the action.
Yeah.
So I'd have to bring it down about a 6.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'll probably bring it down to a 6 too. So considering the story and a little bit of the action. I mean, in this version.
Yeah. I will say, I think part of it was probably the change of directors about halfway through the project. That would not have helped.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Vincent Ward dropping out and David Fincher coming at the last minute,
Yeah.
Trying to fix
so
up
many
the mess
things
and
went
whatever.
wrong.
But hey,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
this movie didn't exist, he wouldn't have gone on to make 7 and
Oh no!
Yeah,
Seven
so-
would have happened. The Usual Suspects never would have happened. Fight Club never would have happened. Social Network would have happened. All great films.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's a good jumping off
Yeah,
point.
it's
but
a good jumping off point. With so far the directors we've talked about in Alien, like James Campbell, whom we've
Do you mean James Cameron?
I mean
Cameron,
James Cameron. I'm sorry, guys.
Who's
Forgive
James
me.
Cantworth?
Sorry. Okay, I just meant James Cameron.
with his camera.
Cameron with his camera.
If it wasn't
Nice
for,
one, Will.
if it wasn't for him for making the second Alien movie, he would have not gone on to the Titanic, the Terminator, and all
the
the
other
other
groovy
groovy
ones.
movies.
And Avatar.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's inevitable sequels.
Yeah, so but a lot of first-time directors have suck it and see.
Oh, we've talked
Yeah.
about this with James Cameron and his Piranha
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really average, sometimes they're really bad.
Yeah,
And I
well-
won't go into David Lynch and Eraserhead.
Well, just bear in mind these guys get dragged on board, and sometimes a project. If you're any type of director out there, guys, if you're listening. If you're any kind of director who have a film project and you're offered and you're saying doesn't really speak to you, then you still do it. But if it's a project that you feel comfortable with and
Yeah.
you want to go for
And
it,
I think
then
that's-
it
I think
fits
it's quite
your
relevant.
criteria.
I kind of feel
Yeah.
like maybe David Fincher went into this because he just wanted to fix the mess.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But if some of these movies we've looked at, if the guy has been part of the script writing process or the story writing process, like Cameron was, you got an idea in your head what you're going to do before you start directing. And
Yeah.
instead of reading somebody else's work, how can I breathe life into this project? So yeah, if you're part of the writing team or the storyline or whatever, and any of the director as well, I think you're you got a better chance. You got a good handle on it. Maybe that's just my
so
opinion.
if you kind of have an idea in your head and you feel comfortable with the story, and you communicate well with your team, then you may have something going for
Or
it.
actually, another point too.
Yeah.
If you're open to suggestions from the producers and the story writers and the screenwriters
Yes.
and everybody, instead of saying go away, it's my job. There's nothing wrong asking questions. Hey,
I really
do
mean I can be
how do
guilty
you
of
want
that
me
myself.
to interpret this? Oh, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and make that work.
It is a team project.
It
you
is,
can't
yeah.
just
Yeah.
focus.
It's not me. It's
Yeah.
not. It can't be a me thing. It's got to be a team thing.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's just like one big thing, and all the other people are just falls apart. You know. You just
Yeah,
have to-
exactly
Yeah.
right. So if a good director, if he doesn't talk to the other people and he's off on a different tangent,
Yeah.
you're going to have a different movie.
Don't be an asshole on set. Is basically what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
much.
Well-
speaking of a person who's actually experienced that, like as a filmmaker, and I've actually experienced that. Like the movies I kind of make is I've had the vision of the movies I'm making in my head for many years.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, and I've actually had people suggest to me to make changes for Young Mad Scientist, and I said no, I'm not changing that because this is the way it's been in my head for many
Yeah,
years.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So,
do
yeah.
you want to tell more people about the upcoming your Mad Science movie?
Take it away.
Yeah,
Jason.
sure. So, Young Mad Scientist it's basically a story about a eighth grader who studies alien worlds and whatnot, and people just it's called Young Mad Scientist because people just think he's crazy, he's mad, he's got all these delusioned ideas based on science fiction, and one of the students in his science class works out that he might actually have Asperger's syndrome, and explains this to his dad, who tries to explain it to him. His name is Simon. Simon gets upset and he runs away and he actually meets a real alien. So that's basically the basic story of the film.
Are you still on track with your film premiere for it, Jace?
Yes, we have scheduled a release date, a premiere. It is coming out on Wednesday, the 15th of April.
Yeah, so
It's a straight to YouTube release as well.
yeah, just so you guys
Time
know,
for
in
Easter.
the next couple of days or weeks, we'll have, depending on how we go,
Yeah.
Jason and I are going to be doing a bit of a one-on-one, group interview with his cast
Yes.
on it. So
That's a big exciting.
be sure to
Oh,
Yeah.
very
That'd
exciting.
be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
be sure
Awesome.
so be sure to keep stay tuned, guys.
Yeah.
You
But
Timothy
Timothy
remind the
Clark-
people what your website's called or your Facebook page. So they
Yeah,
can
sure.
follow you?
My website is called www.sinatorium.com.au.
Yeah, Sanatorium.
Sanatorium, so that's Cinetorium. So this thing of cinema and auditorium put together. You'll be able to see the film on our What's On tab.
Yeah, I'll be sure to put the link down in the box below the
cool.
this
Yeah.
audio. This
And speaking
podcast.
of Sanatorium, we have actually opened vacancies for teen talents and youth angel. We're looking for a female youth angel between the age of 20 and 29, and a male teen talent between the age of 15 and 19. So if you're interested in that, check out our creative social network page.
Yeah, I'll be sure to put the website on there on the podcast for you, Jason. So
Yeah, and
Thank you
check
very
out
much.
his YouTube channel as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
that's what I'm
That
saying,
too.
yeah.
That goes without saying.
There's no good make if no one knows it's there.
Well, I'll put it this way: all the videos and stuff that I'm posting on our YouTube channel are going straight onto our website as well.
You getting many hits?
Oh, Curtis, you have a question?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Now you finish.
That's all good. I'm finished.
Oh, all right. So I was
You're
gonna.
finished? No.
So the biggest thing we can take away from our mate's story here is the fact that studios do not interfere, or else your films will fall apart, just like Justice League, Alien 3, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, good point. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
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 Well, what more can one say? Hey?
Yeah.
Quite right. So, seeing as we're getting to the end, I'd like to say to my gentle listeners, I'll see you guys next time. Same bat time, same witch hour. So, see you around the graveyard. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Out.
Take care.
See ya.